Hey guys, welcome back. This will be part 2 of our junk journal we're doing that we're making out of our envelopes. So we're just using the big envelopes. They were ones that they clearanced out at Hobby Lobby. So we are using those. And then we're using this digital paper that I printed pretty much everything out. And so I got, the little ephemera pieces, all that stuff in here. Some pieces I've cut out already. Like the stuff that I'll do the inside today, I have cut out already. So inked everything up because you don't want to watch all that. You guys know how to ink. So I like to do my cover last because, as you're flipping and everything, your journal can get, wrecked a little bit. So I like to do the inside first. Now what I did do though, is this page I did cut open, and then so 2 pages I cut open, so we'll slip in it. I didn't cut some of these because of the way, I didn't need all of them cut, so we just cut 2 there. Plus these envelopes, I did decide we are going to cut this and so that we can insert from the bottom that file folder that I showed you. So I left this one, and all I did was fold this over. I just put it in there, and I just took up just a sliver off the top. I mean, just a little sliver. Just enough to open it up. So now, put that aside. We have where we can put it in. So we'll close this side off then. I think that'll be cuter with that file folder kind of hanging out. Oh, I guess I didn't do that one. I thought I did that one too. I gotta do that one, I guess. I thought I did that one. Let me see. Okay. I know I did the 2 big ones. Just kind of line it up there. Oops, don't go crooked. We don't want to crooked. Okay. All right, now hopefully we're good to go there. All right, so we're going to start doing the pages. Now I know on this one for sure, we are going to, I got my sheet here, cut these tabs off then. I usually leave them on if I'm going to close, put the paper all the way to the edge and close it off. But we're going to cut those off because they're just going to kind of be a nuisance and in our way when we're putting stuff in and out. So if I can get my scissors there, and then just cut them right off. I didn't want to cut them off until I knew for sure. Flip this over so I can get to it better. For sure what I was going to do. Because, I changed my mind halfway through. Because I think I might have a different idea for the cover. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so I got this page that I cut down. And I will tell you what I cut mine down. But you cut yours down. If you want a bigger border around, then you cut differently, okay? But mine is, so about 4 3/16. You could probably go 4 1/4. Yeah, you could probably go 4 1/4. And 8 1/2. I think all of them should be 8 1/2 long, of course. So we're just going to center this right in there. Glue that down, center it in. We got our glue. I filled my bottle up. It's like I got bottles everywhere. Remember, don't overuse your glue. You don't need to make your paper too wet and stuff. Make sure I got my pattern the right way up. Wouldn't be the first time. Which, don't freak about that if you do. Just put a different piece of paper over the top. Okay. We got that one there. And then we'll have our pocket. And if I decide I want to make a little thumb notch, I'll do that later. Because I might just do like where it sticks out a little longer. We're going to take this one here. So you guys get to see all the pretty different papers that came in this kit. So we put that one there. Same thing, just a little bit of a border there. with this paper, I thought that the craft cardstock, the craft color looked good with this one. Okay, and again, I'm going to kind of turn it this way just so that I can get a better eyeball here. And don't push down until you know you have it in place. And don't go into the fold there. Okay. Here is our first page there. And here, if you wanted to, like, I probably won't, because depending on what we put in there, it may stick out anyways. So we'll do that towards the end. If I feel like I want to cover this, I'll cover that. The other spots, of course, won't need to be covered. So before I do this, let's do the 2 other pages here. And we have this one. Yes, that's one we're closing off. So we will close that off. So we're going to glue right on the whole thing down. And then I'm putting a plain piece on this side then we got 2 good journaling pieces. Even though we got a lot of space in here that will technically be able to write on, we will decorate some of these too. But we got very little writing spot on here. And so I want a little bit more over here. Okay, let's turn this again. So our open one, then we're going to close off. Okay. And you could, like I said, you could leave it, but, you know, I want some to go in the opposite way too. I like how the tabs peek out of the outside of the album too. Album, junk journal. At this point, I don't know what we're going to call this. It's half and half, right? Okay, that looks pretty good. All right. Now we'll do this side. Like I said, I did ink all this already. I think you guys know how to ink. I showed you a little bit. This one doesn't really matter which way it goes. Bring it up just a little bit. Up and over. Okay. Now for this piece, I have 2, I think. This one's cute. This one's cute. They're both cute. Why I'm thinking so hard is because of how I'm going to decorate it. Because I don't want too much bulk from here to here. So I might put this one on the inside and this one on the outside. And I have all this that if I want to put something. So I think I'll do it that way. And then this one too, because we're going to come in from the top, we will close that off. You guys don't have to think as hard as if you make it exactly like mine. I have to make sure I think before I glue because of how I'm making it. And I should turn this, guys, sorry, but I cannot quite see without getting my head in up there. I want to make sure we're not in the wrong spot there down by the seam there. Okay, got that. And then we will put this one on the outside. Oh, I didn't even measure these ones for you. So these ones, these big ones are all, they're all going to be 5 3/8 by 8.5. So all the full sheet ones are going to be 5 3/8. Yeah, by 8.5. Okay. And then these ones are, I went 5 in 3/8 on those. And you can adjust that if you don't like the, and it's 3 5/16. So you can adjust those yourself if you want. You'll have to have more border. I just wanted a little bit of border showing this time. So adjust your measurements if you don't want to do the 3/8 and all that stuff. Okay, so that would be the same size. And we'll put that one down there too. Down there, then I will look up there. Okay, so here we'll have our opening. We'll do the cards towards the end. Oh, make sure to, I forgot. See, I already did that. Don't do as I say. You don't want to glue on that one spot. So let's see if I can get that open quick. And which is okay because my card is not going all the way to the bottom. So we'll be okay on this one. But I did it on this one, didn't I? See, I'm not thinking properly. Okay, so those ones are going to get a shorter card, which is okay. Next one, I'll make sure I do right. But these ones should fit anyways because the index card is not as wide as that anyways, as deep as that. So we should be okay. The little corner here needs a little bit. And I usually, when I'm all done with an album, like I usually always go back and check like my corners and everything to make sure they did adhere, because sometimes, you know, you don't get your glue down far enough and, you know, it's not going to always adhere properly. Okay, so this one's fine. We've got the half sheet, or basically 3/4. So again, that one was, you can go to 4 1/4 would be just fine. So let's say 4 1/4 by 8 1/2 on those ones. That'll be easier measurement for you. And then, so let's cut those off because we don't need those on this one. So cut those off. And if you plan this out far enough ahead, you know, you could, you know, you cut those off. But like I said, I usually just leave it and make up my mind as I'm kind of putting my album together. There's no right reason here to do these things. Okay. All right, now let's put this one. We'll go down. I don't have no trees in our backyard, so but the old house we used to live at many, many moons ago, we did have a hummingbird feeder up, and I managed to see a few. But this house, we don't have nothing in the backyard, so, and I don't really want to, like, put up a hanging one and stuff with the dogs now that I have the dogs. All right, so now we have that. So now we can flip over this. Okay, same thing. This one's not an open one, so we're going to cut those little flaps off here. And you could take, like, probably take an X-Acto knife too and do that. All right. Make sure we're still on. Nope. See, I almost flipped it the wrong way. Gotta make sure we're in the right direction. Okay, so then I got this pretty one. And that's gonna go right down here. Like I said, again, we'll decide on that later on. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I'll have plenty of scraps. Well, it's not like I won't have scraps. I can reprint anything I want. That's the good thing about digitals, is that you can print as much as you'd like. I have a Canon right now, but I'm not sure I like my Canon. I had an HP, and it kind of died on me. So I thought I'd give the Canon a try, but I'm not sure if I like the print quality on it. If you guys have a good one, suggest it for me. I do the on HP, I had that where they automatically sent you the ink, and I'd have it on the Canon also. So it'll just show up when I least expect it. So, and they're really good. The Canon was quicker. The Canon is quicker at sending you refills than HP was. But I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure if I'm fond of their ink quality. The print quality, I mean, not the ink quality. It could be the ink. I don't know. Okay, put those aside. And this one's going to be a full one again. Yeah. But I do like that feature of, you know, where they send me the ink. And I only get the lowest package, which is like around $5 a month that I spend, because I don't do a lot of printing. The only time I do a lot of printing is when I go ahead and, you know, do digitals like this. But otherwise, like, I don't do a ton of printing. Okay, so that one. And then this one we're going to close off. Now, this time we're going to make sure we are not going to... So we're not going to put no ink in this section. So I'm going to hold my hand there where we kind of don't want no ink. And in fact, I'm just going to go right along here. And I can put ink here. So I can put some there. And I can put ink here. Or ink. This is glue. See what happens? I'm talking about ink. You know, I keep my bloopers in here, you know. So Jennifer will come when she's doing the editing and she'll come to me. You know you said this. I go, yeah, I know. If you want to correct me, go ahead. But otherwise, they know me. Hey. It's because we were just talking about all that ink. Okay. Pretty good. Now we should be good this time. I can open it. Perfect. Just keep that in mind when we're doing that, guys. All right. So now again, this one is cut, right? Yep. All right, where's the 2 for this one? Again, I think this one, I want this one on the outside. And then I'm going to put this one on the inside. So again, same thing. All I'm going to do is on the bottom is I'm just going to do a little down here, up the sides, and about that far. So I do not close another one off. Okay. And make sure you put your picture the right way. I want him so when I open the book, he's right way up. All right, now let's get this one on top like that. That way a little bit. Okay. We'll take a full look at the end again. Let's see. Getting kind of nice and bulky. All right, so we got these 2 pages, and then this one will go on this side. So it's like so cute. And it's kind of like a tannish off-white background. Okay, right side up. Make sure, good. All right, let's cut these little tabs off. Okay, that, and then we'll put this one there. Looks good. Okay, we got that. That so far. Let's get our little. So I had to shrink these down. They were grabbed. This was the original size that they came in. So I had to shrink them down. So, and I put those on off-white cream color 65-pound cardstock because I wanted them a little thicker. And now let's get them scored here in half. And they should fold well, maybe not exactly. Let me just do it this way once. Because it's not an exact. So I think we're just going to do it this way instead. Yeah, because it would have been right below the line there. So sometimes you don't want to trust that it's going to be, the line is halfway because this one wasn't. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way, right? Get it up there. Come on. Now you could print on the back, but I'm not. We want to leave so we can write on the back. Okay. And then later on when we do the decorating, we'll put a little tag here. There's plenty of those in here. Okay. Now it should fit if my measurements were right. Then again, when you're doing this late at night, oh, that one works perfect. That's the one that I glued down, but it works perfect. And see, I like how that just peeks out, and then you can just pull it down. I'm glad I did that. I like it better than that way. And then when we put the ones in the side, they'll have a little tab on them also, peeking out. So I like that better. So I don't think I'll put a thumb pull because it, we have this little pull on there. So I liked how that worked out. So the words they come, I'll have to look at those because we may have to shrink the words down now. I mean, most definitely, unless they have some. Here's a pocket. Here's when I shrunk down too far. So let me see how big their words are because I'm going to have to probably shrink all the words down for when we do that part. I can find them in here. I have all this stuff printed out. Yeah, definitely is going to have to, we're going to have to go through and print those down quite small, print those out quite a little bit smaller because there's none that are even small enough to put in there. And if I were to even cut them down, I don't think they would fit on there. So we will have to do that. Okay, I think that's all we'll do for today because we're at 20, almost 25 minutes now. But let's go through and see what we did so far. You can see already it's getting nice, and I decide I'm going to use this chiffon. I think it's a chiffon for the closure. the closest to the greens. I thought it would match pretty good. I think we're just going to do a closure like this again. So we'll put this underneath, and then we'll either tie this way or we'll tie off to the side. So I think that's what we're going to use for our closure. And then I picked out, thinking ahead a little bit, for the side, after we get everything on, get that tape off, is I think I like this one. I think it fits on there really good. For the edging, I think we're going to put this one on the edge, and then it'll be like that. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I know that much so far. Okay, so let's bring this down just a little bit. We don't want to see the messy table. As far as we can go, and you guys can kind of see here what we did so far. So we have all our pockets. We'll have to make a card for here. And we'll have to make a card for here. And we have this. We're going to flip it out. Maybe that's too far now because you can't see it as well. We have our writing spot there. And we have another pocket. And then we will be decorating some of these, all these pages, not all of them. We'll leave some for just writing. But we're going to definitely decorate something probably for sure here in the middle, and some other ones. I got some pockets to put on, stuff like that. And we have another one on this side, and we probably will put something here. Either way, the card's not gonna, the card will cover most of it. And we have this page. Isn't that pretty paper? And I really like that I decided to do this because I think that I like the looks of that. And then we have to put down our, where's my little envelopes? Because we got to put those, see if we have time to do that. Because where was I going to put those? I was going to put, were we going to put the little one or the big one? Where did we want that? Because we can put this down. You want that there, but then, well, I like to do two of them. Then I'd have to cover up my flowers there, which isn't the worst thing. The other size was, and I think that's going to be too big. Or maybe not. This was the other size that I was thinking about. And we put that in the middle, otherwise. Definitely not there. I don't want one on that side. Nothing there. We decided here. Then we have, and this was, I'd put a magnet on it. Okay, let's think about that more for next week. So which one we want to do and add those. We can always do flip outs too with them. Like we could put them on these pages instead if we don't want them on these pages. We can definitely put them on these pages. I have plenty of these size envelopes, and this one I probably won't cover anyways, just add to it. Most just have a nice design on them anyways, so maybe we'll put one here, and then or we can go along the side, and then we'll make it a tuck too. Okay, let's decide that for next week. And then I will get, I'll have to print something out for here. I will have to print something out for the strips. I'm looking to see if there's anything I can use. I don't know if she had any like washi type strips. I don't think she did in this kit. But I can take, like a background piece, and we can cut like part of the pattern out. Some more that I cut out that I thought maybe I'd use. But we can take, I'll have to go through that, but we can take like a pattern piece and just go ahead and cut a strip out. It doesn't even have to have, it could just be one of the colored print ones, the colored background ones, which I don't seem to have any here, so I'll have to print it out. Like it could be just, this color one, and we can just do a strip down there. So I think I will do that. I think just looking at it now, I don't like it. I think we need something here. Right? Okay. All right, guys, I think we'll stop here for this week. And I hope you like the way it's turning out so far. So far, I think I like this paper really well. So, all right, guys, we will see you next week with part 3. Bye now.